inviting the bell. Inviting the purity of that sound to come to the ears. Our Tuesday tea time. All of our ages and ethnicities, cultural heritage, religious backgrounds, socioeconomic groups and ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, we come together to study and practice for the benefit of all beings and for this living earth. We aspire to do no harm and to dismantle barriers that cause separation and suffering, recognizing that our liberation is interconnected with the liberation of all. Acknowledging those indigenous peoples whose lands we are on, the ancestral lands of the Clackamas, Cathlamet, Molalla, Multnomah, Motlala, Chinook, Tualatin, Kalapuya, the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz. And we might ask ourselves, how am I benefiting by living on this land that is a traditional territory of indigenous peoples? Having gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, to the possibility of awakening in this very life, to the joy and appreciation of hearing the teachings and being able to put them into practice directly, and to do it with others in our Sangha. And much gratitude to all of the Sanghas and all of the people before us for 2,600 years that have been recording in various languages and many different countries their understandings of the Buddha's teachings. The bottom line of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, and what we see directly most of the time, the three characteristics of existence, of impermanence and non-personal nature. That dukkha is present, dissatisfaction, suffering, the Pali word of dukkha. Dukkha is part of our lives, being born human, part of this samsara. And as a result, we have this rare opportunity to experience directly this understanding of suffering, that if we grasp and cling, we will probably also be able to see our suffering. If we want things to be other than the way they are, or we want something to change, there's always the right time and place for right action. But in the process of our formal meditation time, we have this time to bring our awareness into the body. The four foundations of mindfulness that the Buddha taught: start with mindfulness of the body and then proceed to mindfulness of feelings. So when we have mindfulness of the body, that's where this idea of breath, attending to the breath, is a place that can be immediately focused on. And in the Buddha's mindfulness of breathing, the Anapanasati Sutta instructions, he tells the practitioner what to remember to pay attention to in a way that allows the mind to go beyond the habits of stressful clinging. And it begins by learning to keep the sensations related to the breathing process in the forefront of our attention. And then as the practice progresses, the awareness of the breath continues in the background as support for the continuity of awareness and to support perceptions of impermanence all the way through the practice. And so by turning the attention to the breath in and of itself, the mind necessarily turns its attention away from, and therefore it weakens its attraction to other sense experiences that are arising in the moment. It's a seclusion. The mind gradually becomes secluded, at times, from the diversity of the sense experience. Apart from the breath and the bodily sensations that the mind habitually attends to and can obsess on and proliferates endlessly around. So there is a happiness of seclusion that arises because the mind chooses to train itself to pay attention to the deepening and expanding qualities of embodied awareness and satisfying calm throughout the body. The mind can become free from the agitation that would arise and with what the mind would otherwise be paying attention to. So we start with mindfulness of the breath. Breathing in, I know I am breathing out. In, breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Attending to this moment with mindfulness. We may notice whether we are breathing in a long breath and breathing out a long breath. We can discern whether we are breathing in a short breath or breathing out a short breath. And as we're noticing this, we're also being aware that the body is seated. There's pressure in various places where it's touching something. We can notice the sensation of touch, grounded in the body, returning to the noticing of the breath, depending on where the mind goes. But if we keep our attention gently on attending to breathing in and breathing out, we can also begin to train to notice breathing in that we are experiencing the whole body of the breath, and breathing out the whole body of the breath. Or the beginning and the end of each breath is the entire breath cycle, is the body of the breath. We can feel the breath throughout the body. And it helps us to calm bodily activities. Hearing may be happening. And as we let this attention focus easefully on breathing in and breathing out, we can hold ourselves in a kind of gentleness. A kindness, allowing ourselves to be at ease while attentive to the present moment experience of what's happening with the breath. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Noticing if it's a long breath or a short breath. Training Breathing in and out, experiencing the whole body. Calming the body activity. Those are the first 4 instructions in the first segment of the Anapanasati Sutta. The next 4, by turning the attention to the arising of joy and ease in the mind, the experience of wholesome inner pleasure can develop and expand and dominate the mind. And this inner happiness allows the mind to observe mental activity. We can notice feeling, the mental activities, feeling, perception, mental formation, with greater and greater dispassion or distancing ourselves from identifying with it. Non-attachment to mental activities. Recognizing the happiness that arises in the mind when we aren't attached to the mental activities, and it allows the mind to release remaining fixations on mental activities. And mental activity can then further quiet down due to the relative absence of that identification. And so that second 4 set of phrases in mindfulness of breathing, the first instructions of the Buddha on breathing, on meditation, is breathing in. I will breathe in joy. Breathing out, I train to breathe out, experiencing joy. The quieting of mental activities. It comes on its own, but we train toward it. We train toward calming the bodily activity. We train toward experiencing joy. Breathing in, we train experiencing happiness, the release of letting go, the calm that can arise. Inclining toward ease in the mind and joy in the mind and inner pleasure. We're turning the attention to the arising of joy and ease in the mind. The experience of inner pleasure that can expand. That calm and happiness allows the mind to see clearly mental activity. Feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, or we can't tell, neutral. Perceptions. Mental formations, mental activity. Breathing in, we cultivate calming mental activity. And breathing out, we breathe to cultivate calming mental activity. Breathing in, noticing joy. Breathing in and out, noticing happiness. It's a subtle happiness of dispassion, non-attachment to mental activity. We just see what arises, is present in the moment, and leaves on its own accord. As we hold ourselves in kindness and compassion, noticing again what's happening with the breath. It's probably different than it was before. We just notice. Breathing in, I'm breathing in a long breath or a short breath, noticing it. Or breathing out, I'm breathing out a short breath or a long breath. Experiencing the breath throughout the whole body, calming the bodily activity. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. mind wanders, we gently bring it back. Noticing the experience of joy and freedom when we wake up again to this moment, this present moment. The breath breathing in, experiencing the breath in the body, calming the bodily activities. There we notice the subtle experiences of joy, because mindfulness is present and awareness is there, seeing what's happening. The less we grasp on and identify with our mental activity or our physical sensations in the body, the more the mind releases. This mental activity can further quiet down. And as the mental activity quiets down, the next 4 set of instructions in the Anapanasati Sutta, as the mental activity quiets down, we train ourselves to experience the mind or the space of knowing. This still mirror-like nature of the mind is to be appreciated or gladdened simply by recognizing it as beautiful. As the mind attends to the beauty of the knowing mind, remaining I-making, my-making, selfing is quieted. What remains, at least in moments, is the mind liberated from selfing. And so we breathe in and out, calming the mental activity. Breathe in and out, experiencing the mind. Breathing in, gladdening the mind, and breathing out, gladdening the mind. We train breathing in, liberating the mind, and we train breathing out, liberating the mind. Mirror-like nature of the mind is appreciated, gladdened, simply by recognizing it as beautiful, beautiful states of mind, as the mind attends to the beauty of this knowing mind. We let go of me and mine and selfing, and it gets quiet. At least in some moments, the mind can be liberated from this attachment to selfing. Training, breathing in, experiencing the mind, the knowing mind. Training, breathing out, experiencing the mind, the knowing mind. Breathing in and out, gladdening the mind, steadying the mind. Liberating the mind. And the last 4 instructions. As the mind begins to know a deeper experience of the release of selfing, it drops its attention to the beauty of this release and instead begins to pay attention to the lawful, conditional process that supports the releasing. The mind can clarify the question when seeing and comprehending what does the mind let go. What does the mind let go? These last 4 prompts of those 4 steps of Anapanasati Sutta. We train breathing in, contemplating impermanence. We train breathing out, contemplating impermanence. We see that what arises passes away. We train breathing in, contemplating this dispassion, this letting go. Letting go of grasping and clinging. Even letting go of that beautiful state of the mind knowing. I breathe in, contemplating cessation, the release. Breathing out, contemplating cessation. No selfing, letting go. What does the mind let go? And the last of these 16 steps is breathing in, contemplating, letting go. Breathing out, contemplating, letting go. The mind is clear and knowing and can see and comprehend clearly. What does the mind let go? And so following the map that the Buddha left behind and confirming its usefulness by practice, the mind pays attention to impermanence, to dispassion, to cessation and letting go, resulting in the uprooting of the mind's tendencies to grasp in any way. And this is where he says, after he goes through those 16 steps, practitioners, this is how cultivating and making much of mindfulness of breathing in and breathing out is of great fruit and great benefit. A way to freedom, a way to freedom from suffering, a way to letting go of clinging and attachment just by attending to the breath. Breathing in long, I know I am breathing in long. Breathing in short, I know I am breathing in short. Breathing out long, I know I am breathing out long. Breathing out short, I know I am breathing out short. I train myself breathing in, I experience the whole body. Breathing out, I experience the whole body. I train myself breathing in, I calm the bodily formation. Breathing out, I calm the bodily formation. And we can just begin again here every time. And on its own, the mind naturally, through that training of the breath, will experience joy and pleasure and notice mental formations and calm the mental formations. Experiencing the mind, breathing in and out, concentrating the mind, bringing in and out, breathing in and out, releasing the mind. Observing impermanence and dispassion, cessation and relinquishment. Contemplating letting go. Through gladdening and steadying the mind, liberating the mind, contemplating impermanence. All of this while holding ourselves kindly and with compassion. May I be at ease. May I have comfort of body and mind. May I have happiness and the causes of happiness. And this happiness in this instance is not an ordinary view of happiness. It's the happiness of seeing suffering, the happiness of seeing letting go, the happiness of seeing when we're clinging to something, the happiness of seeing the impermanence of something. This is the greatest happiness, which is peace. So may we hold ourselves in kindness, in gratitude, in appreciation. And may we let this kindness developing in our bodies, in our heart centers, include others in our field of awareness. Just notice who comes to mind. Could it be a friend? Could it be a benefactor? It could be someone you don't know but you've seen recently. It could be a difficulty or a difficult person. We let this encompassing, unconditional love, all-pervading, include all beings. Still noticing breathing in and breathing out, but letting this breath that fills our body include in this cauldron of our being of breath others known and unknown, seen and unseen. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering. Those beings who swim and fly and crawl and walk. May we hold them in our hearts in this spacious, liberating place of mindfulness, of calmness, of happiness, compassion, kindness. May all beings be free from harm, safe and protected, have ease and well-being. Anicca vata sankara, upadavaya domino, upakitava meruchanti, te samvapasamo sukho. All conditioned things are subject to impermanence. Seeing this clearly with mindfulness is the greatest happiness, which is peace. Thank you for your practice. May it bring you joy. May the merits of this practice be of great benefit to other beings. May we receive benefits. May all beings benefit from this amount of time that we spend really looking at our own minds and hearts